Hello and welcome to our second episode of Brian and Matt Watch Naruto. My name is Brian.
And my name is Matt, and this is our episode 2 of Naruto. The name of this episode is
Oh, you already forgot what the name of the episode is.
My name
It
is
is.
Konohamaru.
No, your name's Matt.
Hey. My name is Konohamaru.
So what happened in the episode, Matt?
So in this episode, we basically are introduced to meet Konohamaru, who is the grandson of the third Hokage.
The honorable grandson.
Yes, the honorable grandson of the third Hokage. In this episode, we also kind of get a little bit of a backstory, kind of some lore, Naruto lore. It starts off with Naruto getting his picture taken. He gets a really edgy picture taken for his ninja ID.
He was the Hokage thought he was clowning.
Yeah, which I mean, he was clowning, but yeah. So he gets his picture taken, and the photographer just goes with it, and as Hokage wants him to retake it basically, and in the middle of him having this discussion, the honorable grandson Konohamaru runs into the room and I guess attempts to kill his grandpa. That's what at least it seemed like anyway.
Yeah, and to say that, why is Naruto always in these situations? Like, isn't there any other genins or any other people to supervise? But Naruto is always in the principal's office, the Hokage's office.
Yeah, meanwhile the grandson has somebody apparently supervise him 24/7. But Naruto, he can't even get anybody, yet he causes so much trouble. They can't even spare one person just to like watch him occasionally. And he just lives alone, which
Yeah.
I mean, can we get this kid some foster parents, please?
But the thing is, and we may have touched on it in the first episode, but what kind of services are there for orphan children? Because first and foremost, if you're living in a ninja society, everybody's dying. So there must be orphans running around through the streets, and they just let them live by themselves.
Well, like you said, the third Hokage was the loser of the last episode because it just showed how poor of a system everything was. So
yeah.
Basically, Naruto and Konohamaru kind of they leave the Hokage, and Konohamaru kind of escapes from his elite guardian, who then
Ibisu,
sets out to
Ibisu.
Yeah, Ibisu, and
great sunglasses, by the way.
Yeah, great sunglasses. Ibisu also, you can tell that he like really looks down on Naruto already, and Naruto before I guess the reason why Konohamaru leaves with him is because Naruto actually stands up to Konohamaru because Konohamaru starts yelling at him, and Naruto, who doesn't really fear anybody, just because he really is like not been in much of society to begin with, so he doesn't really care about people's opinions. He punches Konohamaru right in the head. So I was just wondering, I mean, is this like the start of like class wars in the Hidden Leaf Village?
Class warfare?
I think it might be class warfare,
I mean, if it wasn't as abrupt as a punch in the face, but the least obvious one is how everybody's judging Naruto. And I feel like there's so many people who are projecting in this episode, and I can't tell if it's because everyone has their own little private thoughts that is literally projected to the audience. But Ibisu, he's just trashing Naruto. He's like, oh, worthless delinquent, up to no good. That nine-tailed fox murdered everybody. And then at the end of the episode, that Naruto's like, they get to himself too. He's rejecting. It's like, oh, you're not going to do it, kid. It takes work to be the Hokage. Meanwhile, Naruto's second episode still struggling.
He's still struggling.
He doesn't know how to do it either. But the only thing he says is like, "You got to get through me first," which I love to hear. But
Yeah. Well, Konohamaru, I guess he starts to kind of look up to Naruto because again, Naruto is the only person I guess to stand up to him because all these people in the society kind of they kind of just do whatever Konohamaru wants, and they kind of get into some shenanigans where they kind of start doing stuff together, and every single time that they get caught, Naruto turns and they both turn into women and go into the women's locker room and Naruto's the only one to get in trouble, and so it's constantly stuff like that where Naruto and Konohamaru kind of have different, I guess, consequences for their actions because Konohamaru was just born into, he has so much privilege, I guess, with his birth,
yeah,
and
and sorry to cut you off, but I was about to shit on this episode, but one thing this episode did well was it set it up a beautiful foil for Naruto. Like you were saying, the kid, he can't do nothing. He's either trying to look at porno mags and he's getting the shop clerks chewing him out. He's always getting in trouble for things that Konohamaru, who does equally as worse things, maybe not.
yeah,
He's like everybody's worshiping the ground he walks on. So it's a nice
mm-hmm.
foil for Naruto, while there are also some camaraderie. They're finding things that they share together, and it's a nice little,
nice
like a
juxtaposition
little
between the
bro.
two of them.
Yeah,
I agree. It's a good. I think it's a good comparison. That you can kind of see the difference that these two people live, with how people view them, and kind of towards the end of the episode, Hokage and Iruka Sensei are kind of having a discussion about that too, about how Iruka Sensei is talking to Hokage about how he's really proud of Naruto and everything basically, and how he thinks now people are going to respect Naruto because he passed his ninja exam.
nope.
And and Hokage is basically like, no, he's like,
Nah.
they're gonna give him that. They're always gonna be looking at him and like, that even though no one's allowed to talk about the Nine-Tailed Fox or tell the younger groups about why they don't like Naruto, there's still that basically passed down hatred from parents when they talk bad about Naruto, just for say that he can't really do much, and basically the kids just kind of take up that so
And
it's
this,
just
it's unbelievable how like this episode could just been passed up like it was nothing. But they do talk about a lot of issues, connecting it to our own society. Things are passed down from mother and father to son to daughter, and you don't know why the initial people felt this way, but you got kids hating on, that's the same thing how racism spreads and stuff. Not saying there's racism, at least not that I know of in this in the Hidden Leaf Village,
yeah.
but they got some issues.
Yeah,
And
I guess we haven't seen racism, but it may
just
come
yet,
up. Yeah, it's still there's still 500
we're
episodes or whatever.
we're keeping an eye out.
Yeah, so and I guess just some other things kind of that to go over here. Naruto, basically the start kind of episode begins with Naruto becoming like the mentor for the grandson, and then it eventually kind of evolves into a rivalry because they both kind of wanted the same goal of being the next Hokage.
Crazy.
Also, I guess that's another thing that we kind of learned here, which I don't think that we learned about in episode 1, or maybe we did. Basically, we learned that the fourth Hokage is at least no longer Hokage. I think it's safe to assume that he is passed. I think that he passed away somehow at some point with the Nine-Tailed Fox battle, but he's the one who sealed the Nine-Tailed Fox into Naruto, which I think is some important lore. And then now the third Hokage is Hokage again. So I think it's something happened to the fourth Hokage to make the third Hokage kind of take up that role again. So yeah, I guess we got a little bit of a backstory there too. We also kind of see more of we learn what Katra/chakra is, which is also I think a bit
Did you say
important.
Katra? Did you say Katra?
I did say Katra. That's what Naruto calls it in Katra.
Okay,
We
I
learn
heard
about
chakra.
yeah. Well, we learned about the chakra and katra, and they kind of do the hand signals, which are kind of like a,
Yeah,
a
you
big
gotta
meme now.
perform your ninjutsu,
Yeah,
and
you got to do like those hand things, like you slap your hands and
it's been a while since I've watched such a long anime like this. But the weird thing is for all this shonen anime, they spend so much time with exposition. Like they will go spend 35 minutes talking about chakra and explaining stuff. And then similarly with the when the third Hokage is looking up at the fourth Hokage, I thought that was cool. Just like have that and just have him feeling sad and depressed. You don't have to explain in episode 2 what the hell's going on. Like, let it simmer for a bit. There, and then him and Iruka Sensei having this whole dialogue and spitting all these facts that if two people were talking, I don't think they would be saying all that stuff. So that's just my little headache I get with anime sometimes, just
Mhm.
explaining way too much and just not letting things unfold.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that they really do kind of a good job of kind of throwing you in, especially with episode 1. They really don't give you a backstory about any kind of the
Yeah.
anything. They kind of just throw you in, and then now in this episode they kind of slowly kind of let you kind of learn some of the basics of ninja training, and we like I'm eventually we're going to probably learn about the jutsus, different types of jutsus they have, which will become important, I think, down the road because we kind of see how each of these ninjas have their own kind of specialty that they're good at. Um,
Beautiful thing. What ninjutsu would you have, Matt?
well, honestly, I don't really know. I mean, we haven't gotten to that far yet, so I feel like we
It,
have to see what
okay,
they all
okay.
are.
I'll have to actually next episode.
Yeah, maybe next episode we'll get a little bit more about learning about all that. I guess going back to the synopsis of a few other things that happened in this episode that I guess are important. We do see Naruto combine the sexy jutsu with the shadow clone jutsu, which I think this is the first time that we see him do this. He calls it the harem jutsu, um, which he uses on the elite ninja. Um, what's his name again? I can never remember his name.
Ibisu.
Ibisu, right?
And
Yeah,
I'm a Ronin, I'm an elite ninja,
yeah.
blah 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 blah. But he beat Naruto's already beaten the third Hokage using his sexy jutsu. Then
Yeah,
he
I
beat
think that
the
this is
second guy. He's
right.
he's he's two he's 2-0 with sexy
I'm just a
jutsu right
little
now.
confused about exactly how he's beating them because all he is just making himself look like a basically a naked woman, and like
Yeah,
how does that incapacitate them so much that they lose?
I
I
mean
mean, I
they're
guess
no they're
those
I
nosebleeds, that's a lot of blood loss, but what does this say about like the ninja, like the men ninja of this group, that they're just basically like anytime they see a pretty woman, they're basically just incapacitated and they're like, oh, I can't do it,
well
I can't fight anymore.
I mean, possibly. I don't know. Maybe they'll have some answers for themselves. But I feel like coming up when we're gonna have Sakura joining, getting Team Seven in there. I feel like she's gonna be smashing some heads when Naruto does that stuff. So we'll have some better
Yeah,
police. But
that's true.
there's not many not many female characters at this moment. It doesn't seem like there's many at all. But we're gonna get a nice little balance of diversity in here.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess just one more thing too, is that the episode ends with the Hokage looking into his crystal ball thing and saying something along the lines of like basically, finally you are on the path to becoming a true ninja now. But he doesn't really say who he's talking about.
we know who he's
Um,
talking about.
I mean, we have a theory.
We
We
know.
think we feel like he's talking about Naruto, but he could also be talking about his grandson. But who does he think that is really on the true path to being a
I
ninja?
think, like Konohamaru was saying, no matter what he does, he's gonna pass every ninja exam. It don't matter.
Yeah.
His name alone affords him whatever he can get. So he's all right. So he's talking about Naruto for sure there.
Yeah, I guess it also goes back to the name of the episode too. My name is Konohamaru. I think that's a pretty clever name, I guess, because of everything that they kind of talk about in this episode, and how he's just goes from being just a grandson to my name is Konohamaru.
Yes. What are some highlights for the episode for you?
I guess one of the highlights that we really didn't talk about was definitely the intro song. The intro, and just in general, I don't remember this intro at all.
So some clarification. Does highlight mean something that of note, or highlight positive, something positive and negative, or is a highlight something just positive?
I guess I was just thinking of something of note, But
okay.
You wanted us to highlight as something good.
That's fine. All right.
I thought that was just something that like
it was a vibe.
It was definitely a vibe. That was I feel like that song, it just doesn't even fit the video of what's going on with the intro.
I did like the video.
I thought the video was good, but the music, I don't think the music fits.
We're gonna have to do some research.
Maybe the American version that was on back when we were kids was different. I don't know. I have to look into that.
Write that down.
I'll write that down. Then what's your highlight?
We were talking about I mentioned before the foil Konohamaru to Naruto. And Naruto said, and I wrote this quote down, "Why do they only whack me?" after he got hit in the head by the shop clerk. And it's just a good question to think about, probably for the rest of this series. Why do they only whack me? We're gonna meet Sasuke, pretty boy's gonna come in. Everybody's gonna worship the ground he walks on. So Naruto's constantly, no matter what he does, no matter how often he proves himself,
he's always the one to blame.
Always one to blame.
I mean, he's working though. He's gonna work hard, and hopefully he's gonna become the next Hokage. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, and then I had to do some research because I didn't know who the third Hokage was looking at and it's apparently called the Mount Hokage.
Oh yeah, I guess that fits.
And I saw, spoiler alerts, he may achieve what he set out to do from episode 1. I'm not saying who I'm talking about though, but he was looking at the fourth Hokage, and I think that was just nice, and they should have just cut it off at that. Like I was saying, don't go into explaining everything. Have this old man just look somberly at.
You think that they over-explained it?
Oh, definitely. They should have you got 5,000 episodes. You don't have to explain everything so distinctly like that.
I don't know. I don't think that they over-explained it. At least not to me. I think that they cover what they had to cover, and
I think I just watched too many. I watched too many art house movies. Maybe that's maybe you're right. I need to look at it from a lens of if I'm 12 watching this, I'm gonna be like, oh, what is he doing?
Well, I feel like it was important, at least a little bit, in that, we got a little bit about the backstory of the fourth Hokage, kind of see what happened to him a little bit. We see a little bit more about Naruto, and I guess just society, and how one thing I think is important too is that he made it a rule where you're not allowed to talk about how Naruto has the nine-tailed fox.
We'll see it. We'll see how that rule works out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't work out, but at least it's him trying to protect Naruto somewhat, which is, I guess, more than what we thought initially. I guess based on episode 1 alone.
Yeah. The question is, what have you done for me lately, third Hokage? That's right. Naruto's struggling. He's got his own. We saw the classic shot of him, the swing by the tree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see so many more. Which honestly, I mean, they're not even in the schoolhouse really anymore. Why do they keep showing the swing outside the schoolhouse?
They're gonna be back. I think they're gonna be back. They're gonna have to be back at it because they've used that
I don't
swing
know. I
something.
think that now that they have been promoted to Genin after they pass their exams, I think that they mostly just do actually like hands-on training. I don't think that they do a lot of like desk study stuff. I mean, I know that
Yeah.
they do have like that test. I don't know. It's down the line. They sit
Shooting
down on, but
exam.
yeah, I guess is that the tuning exam?
Yeah,
Tuning is the next step, right?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. So
Oh,
Iruka Sensei is only a tuning, and so he's only
well, I think
one
you gotta
level
be a
higher
shoot.
than them.
You gotta be a shooting for a bit though, from what I remember. Then you go up to
Do
the
you?
next level.
Well, I don't know. Iruka Sensei seems pretty old, but he's teaching. I don't know. It just seems weird.
Matt, I've met
Why would it
teachers
teach?
who are 21 years old.
But I feel like that's like someone who like goes from well, I guess that would be something like a college student teaching like an elementary school student. So I guess
but
it
but
makes some sense.
yeah, but if you think
But
about it, I don't think it's something. Let's look at it maybe. I mean, I've been watching The Wire too much lately, but like the police, for instance, you can become a sergeant. You could stay a sergeant for your entire life. You don't have to be promoted. Like people do want to get promoted, but you could stay at that. So I feel like it's kind
yeah.
of similar where it's like you're shooting, like, all right, you good. You could do this. And
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, maybe he just likes teaching and that he didn't want to, continue training to progress through the level. So you
yeah,
might be right there.
yeah. Yeah, as a teacher for myself, I look at Iruka
Yeah.
Sensei with the highest regard. I have a fun fact for you, Matt, that I didn't mention to you before. That I'm going to do a fun fact, but I think I should do a
Okay.
fun fact each episode. So today's fun fact is do you know who Konohamaru, the honorable
Honorable
Konohamaru's
grandson.
honorable grandson Konohamaru, who who is that voice actor? Can you name another role that English voice actor, another character she voiced?
No, I can't. Can tell me who?
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint. this it's a character from Sonic.
Is it, is it Amy Rose?
No, not Amy Rose.
Is it Tails?
It is Tails.
Okay, yeah.
I was looking
Makes
at it.
sense.
This is voice actor Colleen O'Shaughnessy.
Okay.
I
Well,
was like,
that's pretty interesting.
I had to look that up, but she's been like Tails and everything. Now
I
she also
I can
plays
see it
another
now.
character in Naruto who we haven't met. Iona, something like that. But we'll meet her later
Yeah.
during the team stuff. I think from what I remember, she's pretty cool. But yeah, it's like so weird. The voice, it was like, what is that from? But she's played Tails and everything, and that's fantastic.
I did
That's my fun
actually.
fact.
That's a good fun fact. I did actually read as well that on Naruto's form, this is another
Oh,
fun fact, on his ninja registration form that they show with his ID on there, his ID number is mistaken. Like they have like a typo on the ID card. It's not actually his real number, which apparently on is like I guess I didn't even know that ninjas had numbers, but apparently
well,
he has a ninja
Iruka
number and it's
Sensei's like
wrong.
my ninja ID, like all that.
Yeah.
Like what? Why is everyone taking such a big deal?
Well, I guess we
I
had to
wonder.
he had to reprint it anyway because I got to get a new picture.
I
So
wonder. I wonder if Naruto's an organ donor.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Do they ask
We'll
you?
have to
Do they
check the
ask you
wiki for that one.
Search Naruto organ donor. So
um, I guess that's just. I guess we can move on to the categories now. What do you
yeah,
think?
I I just forgot what the first category is. Oh Lord, how did I
I think
forget?
your first question that you said you wanted to ask was what aged the best.
Oh yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah. Thank you. You should just be doing my job. So Matt, what aged the best for you in the episode?
Um, I guess to me, what aged the best? I would have to say probably, um, just talking, the classes, different like you were talking about before, having Konohamaru with Naruto and the differences of how they were raised. I think that kind of aged pretty well, even in modern
Mhm.
society today when there's like a huge wealth gap and everything too.
Yeah. For myself personally, I kind of was digging the intro. Like the music did not feel right. It felt very misplaced, but just the video itself and how compared to other anime intros, it just feels that one feels like such a classic. Like they're fighting, they're doing their stuff, and there's
We're
like the
talking about
sunset.
without the music, or just like the video itself without the music?
The video. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'll get
Okay.
used to it with the music. I think
Yeah.
I'll get used to it. But that just a classic
I think they just
filling
need a
intro.
more upbeat, like action kind of like song to go with it. So I don't know. This is my opinion. I always
Mm.
remember that being like an upbeat song when I was watching, but maybe I'm
No,
thinking of season two.
they're
I don't
slowing
know.
it down. They're slowing it down.
Yeah.
It's like this episode. It's just a vibe. All right, what aged the worst for you, Matt?
Definitely the sexy jutsu. I feel like that I mean, I guess this show was made for teenage boys, and teenage boys would probably like that. But I feel like, I feel like it's just a little bit,
Would
you
you
know,
let your kid? Would you let your kid watch this? And at what
yeah,
age? No.
probably any age. It's Naruto.
And-
I mean, it's not
the
like it's
age.
that.
No,
There's
I'm
worse
just.
things that they could watch than Naruto.
I got my kids watching the first episode of Naruto as soon as they exit in the womb.
They probably won't understand, but by the time that they're 20, they might actually finish the series.
Now, I would have to say I agree with you on the sexy jutsu age and the worst. Um, but I also think it's just now that we've sort of moved on from anime and we watch like TV shows that are maybe like 40 minutes to an hour long, or even shows that are like 20 to 30 minutes. I feel like they do so much more in episodes. Like the pacing is just different. And some would say this is a filler episode, so it kind of has that pace. But I don't know. It's just I thought there would be more action at first.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a lot of shows out there too, especially even modern shows that have like a slow start. Like even like The Wire, which you're watching, is a very slow start at the beginning.
This listen, and hopefully this doesn't turn into a Wire podcast. But the second episode, I mean, the second time watching The Wire, it's so things are so much faster. And to go on a
Yeah.
brief tangent, compared to other cop shows, do you know how many times a bullet is fired by police in The Wire during the first like four seasons of the show?
Probably like once or twice, I feel like.
Yeah, like once or twice. That you really don't go there for the action. It is
Yeah.
slow, but man, oh man, is it a fantastic show? Which you should honestly be picking up alongside watching Naruto. It's a great combination.
Yes, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So yeah, but I see what you're talking about though.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next category?
The last category of today, who won this episode for you, Matt?
I guess my winner would be Naruto. He,
Classic.
I mean, I think I might have picked Naruto last episode too, but I think he won this episode in that he, um, basically he has this person now who actually looks up to him. He's someone, he finally found, like he said in the episode, he finally found someone who, who he can look up to, who respects him, and now he has someone else who looks up to him. So I feel
Mm.
like it's kind of a new thing for him, and that he's finally got somebody who kind of sees him as I guess somebody who's not just an outcast. And so I think that's just really cool for him, and it's good for his personal growth.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. For my winner of the episode, I'm going with the third Hokage. It seems like he has to have a lot on his plate, but on the same token, he seems to be working in the background and influencing some different things that are happening. from, he could have been a little more strict with his grandson and been like, oh, he's gonna learn some stupid stuff from Naruto. But he let it happen. Just seeing that unfold. I think he's the winner of the episode.
Yeah, I
He
mean, I
has,
guess I could agree with that. He's got like the pieces falling into place where they need to see
yeah.
the growth of the characters.
But it could be completely unintentional. So I'll put an asterisk by the winner of the episode. But if I had to pick someone else, it would probably be Konohamaru. Kind of like what you're saying with Naruto. Everybody treats
Yeah.
him some sort of way, and he doesn't really have anyone to look up to besides his grandpa, possibly.
Yeah,
But
he's finally got somebody who's now a rival for him.
wow,
And
wow.
who also told him straight up, if you want to try to do something and beat Hokage, you're gonna have to beat me first.
Wait,
So
yeah, Naruto said that, right?
yeah, Naruto told him, because he's saying that he wants to be a Hokage, and Naruto's like, you're not gonna be Hokage unless you beat me. So
The one thing I would say about Konohamaru is he doesn't have that compared to Sasuke. He doesn't have that, like, oh, I'm clearly the foil of Naruto.
yeah,
Like you're not the rival. You're not the
yeah,
rival. Just to let you, just
yeah,
to
yeah,
let
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
for sure, for
Just
sure.
like the way
He's
he's
got
designed, and like
yeah,
from what we know of the show, like, nah, man, you ain't gonna be in these
yeah. He's got to level up a few times first to even be, he's still like in grade
he
school.
he
But
hasn't
he's
he
doing pretty good with his jutsus. He's already got like a sexy jutsu down. Naruto taught on that pretty quick, I
so
gotta
the
say.
question, and as we're moving forward, one question we're gonna try to tackle in the show is raw talent versus self-determination. Like
Mm,
what wins out?
that's a
Because
good point.
Konohamaru, raw talent. He's already doing jutsus, and he probably is like 3.5 years old. I don't know how old he is. Naruto, he's struggling. He's on the struggle bus, and he does have some raw talent, but at the end of the day, just believe it, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that is what it was, what it comes down to. Naruto, he basically is just so self-determined that he's going to work. And I feel like for the most part, I think he does try to work as hard as he can. He just doesn't always have the raw natural talent that some of the other characters in the show do.
Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts before we close out for today, Matt?
Well, I guess I guess we could just kind of talk about where we've come since episode one. Even though we just finally published episode one, it's been a
Yesterday.
month. Yeah, well, I think it was a couple days ago that we published the episode, but we it's been a month since we recorded that, and finally I sat down and I said I went from not knowing what Audacity was to figuring out how to use it at a pretty beginner level.
Okay.
And so I feel like, I'm
You're
hoping
an editor now.
I'm now the editor since we don't have an official editor.
We
Still, if
lost. We
anyone wants
lost.
that
We lost
job.
that.
Also we will need as well an intro song.
We got some
With the
feedback.
we gotta get some feedback that we need a theme song, which I agree. But we'll try to see what we can do.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Matt, not you, Matt, another Matt, about possibly doing us like a little bass riff for an intro. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see
see.
about
We'll
that.
see.
But with this pandemic going on and work and things coming to go, I would probably mention beginning on. Oh, we have so much time on our hands, but of course, things happen.
Yeah, I think that what I think now we can hopefully have maybe do this a little bit more regularly, hopefully. We got the ball moving on actually getting things published, so we actually took a pretty big step there and showed that it's possible for us to do this.
It's beautiful.
So
All the haters
yeah,
out
all the
there.
haters who said that it's never gonna happen, it happened, and now we're doing an episode 2. So
Yeah, we're kind of like where Naruto is right now. It's
yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of
So
misguided self-determination.
yeah, and we named the channel as well, Brian and Nat Watch Things, because we plan on potentially doing something besides Naruto at some point. But
Mhm.
we have a lot of episodes to get through with Naruto, so we'll probably be doing that for a bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll close out. And I feel like every podcast has a great close out as well. And we didn't have one really planned. So thank you for joining us on Matt and Brian Watch Naruto. Tune in for episode 3, which is we're going to be introduced to some of Naruto's best friends throughout the series. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.